So far we have discussed the details of each of the 5 precepts separately. But although we have discussed them as individual items, we have to realize that although there are 5 precepts, there is in fact only one fundamental spirit which lies behind the 5 precepts, which is the following: not trespassing. Or to be more specific, it's about not trespassing against others. So do not feel that the 5 precepts are difficult to observe, because all you need to remember are these words: not trespassing. And as we learn to observe the 5 precepts, and as we have already talked about how precepts are in fact a respect for other people's freedom, we must also be aware that once we have respect in other people's freedom, we are in fact also promoting true freedom. Just as said in chapter 82 of the Maharatnakutta Sutra, it says that the 5 precepts are not to kill and bear anger against any living being, to be satisfied with what you own and not to be greedy for others' health, to abandon all unlawful sexual desires and not to covet beauties of others, to refrain from lying and defamation, to stay away from strong wine and spirits so that we are not intoxicated and lose our senses. Therefore, we can say that what we have read just then is an explanation on the meaning of the 5 precepts. And what the sutra is actually trying to teach us are the following. Not to kill means not to violate other people's life. And not to steal means not to violate on others' properties. And thirdly, not to commit sexual misconduct is not to violate others' chastity and moral integrity. And fourthly, not to lie and defame is not to violate others' reputation and good name. And finally, not to indulge in intoxicant is not to impair your reasoning and sanity so as to avoid harming others. Therefore, we must all bear all of these in mind and remember why we are actually observing the 5 precepts. Having said all of the above so far, I still have to stress again and again that precepts do not represent a negative attitude, just as I have said in the beginning. It's not about what you must not do or what you cannot do. It's not simply about restrictions. Precept is not an imposition of restraint on oneself. In fact, we can even say that precept is actually an action that will bring liberation to ourselves. If you don't believe it, take a look at the people who have been locked up in jail. You will realize that they would have violated at least one of the 5 precepts. So if we require into cases of imprisonment, we'll find that the imprisoned invariably had committed crimes which are contrary to the precepts. And examples of these crimes relating to the breaking of precepts are as follows. First of all, for the precept of no killing, examples include murder, disfigurement, and unlawful persecution. Secondly, the precept of no stealing. The examples include graft, bribery, encroachment, theft, extortion, hold-up, and kidnapping. As for the precept of no sexual misconduct, The examples include sexual assault, abduction, bigamy, and impediment of morality. Fourthly, for the precept of no lying, the examples include defamation, counterfeiting, intimidation, duplicity, and slandering. For the final precept, which is the precept of no intoxicants, the examples include drug trafficking, conveying and taking drugs, or drunkenness. Therefore, the above are the very basic examples of the situations in which the 5 precepts may be violated. And once again, let's go back to the fact that there's nothing negative about taking the 5 precepts. In fact, behind each precept, there lies a rather proactive meaning for each of them. And we can explain them in the following ways. For example, not to kill is to be more conscious about the environment. And secondly, not to steal is, in other words, to be always prepared to give. So by not stealing, you become a more generous person. And thirdly, no sexual misconduct means to be respectful. Not only do you respect your own integrity, you will also respect that of other people. And fourthly, not to lie means to be honest. As we have said before, there are many benefits of not lying, and the best is that by not lying, you become an honest and truthful person. And fifthly, no intoxicants means to conduct yourself properly. Therefore, we can say that with a clear conscience or a clear mind, you will be able to make the right judgments and prevent yourself from causing any mistakes or regrets. After talking about the proactive meanings, let's now look at how the 5 precepts are also similar to the 5 Confucian virtues. And these 5 virtues are the following: benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness. And if we were to align these 5 virtues to the 5 precepts, we can compare benevolence to the precept of not killing. So benevolence means is similar to not to kill, while righteousness is the same as not to steal. As for propriety, it means not to be lustful. And for wisdom, it means not be intoxicated. And for trustworthiness, it simply means not to lie. So the 5 precepts does apply to many aspects of life that makes us better persons who can lead healthier and better lives. And let's once again go back to the benefits of the 5 precepts and explain them in simple words. Not killing means good health and long lives. Does that sound good enough for you? And not stealing means good wealth. As for no sexual misconduct, it means that you will enjoy a harmonious and happy family lives. And as for not lying, it means that you will enjoy a good name. You will enjoy good fame and good reputation. As for not taking intoxicants, it means that you will be entitled to a good health and a clear mind. So there are lots and lots of benefits and positive sides to the 5 precepts. So please never just look at them as some kind of restrictions or burdens in life. And the Buddha always asked his monks or his monastics both to remain calm and to appear calm. Morality can be conceived as a kind of coolness or calmness that is very comfortable to the one who practices it. And when we live in accord with the 5 precepts, we begin to attune ourselves not only to the teaching of the Buddha, but also to the pure mind of the Buddha that lies within us. Therefore, calmness founded on the promptings of this Buddha mind can never be shaken and will never be in error. So these are the very, very fundamental principles of observing the 5 precepts. And to sum up today's lesson, let's once again go back to the terms which we have discussed. First of all, we've talked about the 5 precepts. And the 5 precepts consist of not killing, not stealing, no sexual misconduct, not lying, and no intoxicants. And remember, while there are 5 precepts, we can sum up all of these 5 into one very simple word: respect. And also not to trespass on others. In other words, it's about, while not violating other people's rights to their lives and so on, we are also learning to care for and to protect this world. Therefore, I hope you can bear all of this in mind, and I hope we have provided a very basic and clear enough explanation of the 5 precepts. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.